Killer.
Maestro, 3 years in the making.
3 years. It has taken us a long time to get this package perfected. We are here today because of this little creature, the Octa Psi. My whole team's been working on it for 3 years. I thought it was going to be a kind of a simple, quick, easy project. Hey, let's put fuzz and an octave together. And then I've pretty much got everything but the kitchen sink in there now at this point in time. We got order switching. We can go wet or dry wet on the fly. You can do momentary or latching pitch shifting, and you can adjust the ramp rate so you can have dive bombs or wild bends and stuff like that. So I pretty much got everything in here I could ever dream of, including bizarre harmonies, and there's just all kinds of fun ways you can use them. You can even stack two of them together and get really crazy.
Yeah, so let's jump into the fuzz right out the gate. Like we're saying, it's a transistor big muff. You'll see here the 3 different EQ profiles. You have scoop, psi, and punch.
Yep.
We'll go through those. Let's start with scoop. Scoop is going to be your classic transistor big muff sound.
Yep.
So what I'll do is I'll play some chords. We'll turn on the pedal, and then Maestro, if you'll toggle through, we'll let everyone hear the different EQs. That psi position, talk a little bit about that when I'm playing those melody lines, those single notes.
Sometimes you want a lot of that character that's under 100 hertz added in there, and that really makes it very, very full.
Yeah.
So it's really fun when you're playing single note lines and you just have a little bit more authority behind it, a little bit of fullness and richness that actually adds to the amount of fuzz, really. And so that's great. Sometimes when you want to cut through in a band mix, though, you don't need any of that, and it might seem bloated to have it in a certain band situation. So that's where the scoop takes out that really bass frequencies and makes it very nice and tight. The punch is a kind of a little bit of balance of both. It takes that extra bass and it keeps that very scooped sound. So just subtle variations, because when you start adding octaves, an octave down or 2 octaves down or a 5th down or something like that, it can get really full. The pitch shifter is really where a lot of the magic happens. And I've divided the pitches into 3 different categories. Octaves that are up, pitches that are up, dual pitches where we have 2 voices sounding at the same time, and then lastly, downward pitch shifting and octaves down. Going along the pitch wheel here, there's a place for 2 octaves so that you can actually have 2 octaves down and 2 octaves up. And there's a variety of other modes like detuning, seconds, thirds, 4th, 5th, 6th, and then finally back to octaves there. With the blend control, this is where it gets really interesting. Not only can you double tap this to eliminate your dry signal, in other words, your straight guitar, and then you're just going to hear the octave up and the octave down, or you can keep your original signal in. What you can do is you can press down on there, and it's a balance control. Let's listen to it, how it sounds when we have 2 octaves on, and we can balance between those octaves. Go ahead. It's almost works as a tone control for the pitch shifting side. I've really found it helpful if I'm combining a bunch of other effects, or if I have a certain distortion sound, or even if I'm using another distortion pedal in front of this, I can use this to kind of tune the tone of the pitch shifting side. It's a really great effect.
So one function that you guys will notice right there, if you're familiar at all with pitch pedals, would be like a Pog. A Pog is such a great pitch pedal, and I think one reason why people love that is you can dial in that upper octave, that lower octave. So you can do that here with the Octa Psi, and as you showed them, that feature is super cool.
Yep.
Now let's show them if the same setting, right? So we've got an octave, we got 2 pitches. Let's go down to an octave down,
Yep.
I'll just play an E note. You'll hear the unaffected sound. And then when Maestro engages the octave side, you'll hear the lower pitch. We'll show you that, and then we're going to show them how you can go from dry wet to all wet. One creative way that you could use this is to turn your guitar into a bass.
Yep.
So let's show them that. This is really just our most creative pedal is what
It really is. It's a blast to play. It really is. You can set yourself up with a looper and just create oceans of music.
Okay, another thing that you can do with the Octa Psi, we've talked about how you can go all wet, make your guitar sound like a bass.
Yep.
You can also, another pitch pedal people are probably familiar with is the Digitech Whammy.
Oh yeah.
My favorite thing about that, if you're a fan of Jack White, I mean, gosh, so many different great players using that as an effect to take their lead lines to throw it up an octave.
Yep.
You can do that with the Octa Psi. You can do it in a couple ways. We actually have an expression port that gets you the same kind of effect as a whammy, but my favorite is this momentary mode.
Mm-hmm.
So how you access momentary mode is you actually hold down the fuzz and it switches to momentary. What that does is when you're playing a note, you press on the effect. When you let go, it disengages.
Yep.
Another cool thing, we added a ramp speed. And so I want to showcase this here. I actually have a unit down on the floor. I'll show people this. I'm going to go octave up, and then I put it in a momentary mode, and I set the ramp speed. When you hold down this switch, this blend becomes the ramp speed, your shortest time to your longest. I'm going to set it about right there. What that does is it allows me to use the fuzz, riff around, but then at a moment's notice, get this octave out. So check this out.
Excellent.
So much fun. So we've shown off a bunch of different options with the pitch. We've mainly shown octave stuff because a lot of people are going to want to use it for octave down, dual, octave up. You know, it gets everything from the pog, the whammy. But like another pedal, the pitchfork, you know, we're really inspired by that pedal, all the different pitches you can get. I want to show off one of my favorites. And why is it my favorite? Because you can take a simple 3-chord progression, put this thing in momentary mode, and it's like you learn 3 extra chords or something.
Exactly.
So what I like to do is I like to go to what is the perfect 4th mode, and then I do the up position. So that's going to take any note, throw it up a perfect 4th.
Yep.
But then if you do an all wet mode, which is what we were saying, double tap that. So check this out, guys. So here's just the fuzz, no pitch shifting at all. So what you saw there is whenever I'm engaging the pedal, it's taking a simple C chord and it's throwing it up and forth. You don't even have to know what that means to just have fun and play. So check this out. If I just take a simple A, C, G progression.
And it was really fun sounding. I mean, it gets your ear thinking. You're like, hey, that is fun. Those are new sounds.
If I wanted the longest pitch ramp, again, hold that down all the way. Now check it out.
That's a great way to start a tune.
I mean, what better way to end your set than
Absolutely. A great thing happened when we were playing with the Octa Psi, and we were playing with this notion of which should come first, which should customers hear first, the fuzz before or after the octave.
We give people both options.
Yes.
This, what we're going to show you now, is fuzz first, which is how we ship it. And then I'll play a little riff, and then we'll jump and show you how to switch order and what it sounds like to have pitch first.
Great.
So check this out. Now, if you hold both stomps down, switches the order, indicates what's first. Now here's pitch first. Sounds meaner.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. And
But
isn't that great?
Fuzz first is cleaner sounding.
Yes, yes. So I think some people call it like the video game sound. If fuzz is first, it sounds real clean and tight. And then the other way sounds kind of Jack Whitish or something, a little crazier.
Yeah, so this is pitch first again. Switch the order, hold both stomps down. It's gonna show fuzzes first, same riff.
Isn't that great?
Really cool.
One great feature with the Octa Psi is that if you're not going to use an expression pedal, you can just hook a simple switch, momentary switch up to the control jack here, and that with one button will do order switching, and you won't have to worry about what side is on or back and forth. One of the great features with this pitch shifter is that it has a detune mode, which makes an excellent sounding chorus. In dual mode, it's actually a dual chorus then. There's a note that's sharp and a note that's flat. So let's take a listen to that.
So
That's
it seemed
great.
like when you backed it off, it got less warbly.
Yeah, exactly. I brought the pitches closer to in tune, and then I brought the volume of your guitar up.
Very good. So
It
you
is
get
fun.
all these different pitch options, but in the detune mode, you get a really good chorus.
You can get as crazy as you want to. You can set the upper pitch how far out of tune it is, different from the one that's lower, so that's flat. So you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with the chorus.
So one little hidden thing that Maestro had to put in the pedal is if you get a buddy, like
Yep.
you are for me,
Boom.
you go in dual mode.
Yep. I
And
got
you go
dual
through
mode in there, and I got your dry signal mixed with the pitch shifter. It's got its own built-in little weird song.
Little song, here
Yeah.
it is. Amazing.
Yes.
You would put a song in a pedal.
Yes. It has its own theme song.
Maestro,
Mm-hmm.
after 3 years of development, we're finally here,
Yep.
ready for this to go out into the world, seeing how all guitar players can be creative with this amazing tool. It's an instrument within itself.
It is.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Feel free to go over to rkfx.com, learn more about the Octa Psi.